Look, every single one of us has felt it. Those moments when your emotions are controlling you. Fear, doubt, anger, sadness, frustration. They rise up and demand your attention, and if you let them, they dictate your life. They make decisions for you. They limit you. They chain you to a version of yourself that is small, hesitant, and afraid. But here's the truth you need to hear right now. Your feelings do not define you. Your feelings are temporary, fleeting, and often misleading. They are like clouds in the skies, sometimes dark, sometimes heavy, but always passing. What defines you is your ability to rise above them. What defines you is your capacity to step out of the storm of your emotions and into the strength that lives inside you. You see, feelings are powerful, but power is stronger, and power comes from clarity, from action, from choice. You may feel fear, but you can act with courage. You may feel doubt, but you can act with certainty. You may feel tired, hopeless, or unworthy, but you can rise above that. You can choose what kind of energy you bring into your life. You can choose the story you tell yourself about who you are, what you can do, and where you are going. The key is simple, but it's not easy. You must learn to interrupt the patterns of your feelings. When fear tells you to back down, act anyway. When anger tells you to lash out, pause, breathe, and choose a response that serves your purpose. When sadness tells you to give up, take one small step forward. Because it is in that action, in that choice, that your power emerges. Action transforms feelings into results, doubt into confidence, and weakness into unstoppable strength. Now, listen to me. Rising above your feelings doesn't mean ignoring them. It doesn't mean pretending you don't feel hurt, frustrated, or scared. No, it means acknowledging them, understanding them, and then refusing to be ruled by them. It means saying, I see you fear, I see you doubt, I see you anger, but I am bigger than you, I am stronger than you, and I will not let you control my destiny. Every single great life, every extraordinary success is built on this principle. Not on the absence of emotion, but on mastery over it. When you rise above your feelings, you tap into a force inside of you that is limitless. You tap into a power that cannot be shaken by circumstance, by people, or by setbacks. That power is your purpose. That power is your potential. That power is you taking full ownership of your life. And here's what most people miss. They wait to feel ready. They wait until the fear is gone, until the anger subsides, until the sadness lifts. And while they wait, life passes them by. Opportunity waits for no one. Power waits for no one. Your feelings will always try to hold you back, but your action can always push you forward. You do not need to wait to feel strong. You need to act strong, and in acting you will become strong. So rise above your feelings, rise above the voices that tell you you can't, you're not enough. This is too hard. Stand up, step forward. Take the actions that scare you the most, because those are the actions that build your courage. Those are the actions that expand your strength. Those are the actions that awaken the power you've been waiting to discover. Your feelings are temporary, but your power is permanent. Your feelings can try to hold you down, but your choices will lift you higher than you've ever imagined. You are not your fear. You are not your anger. You are not your doubt. You are a force of nature capable of creating, achieving, and living far beyond what you thought was possible. Rise above your feelings, rise into your power. And from this moment forward, make the choice that no feeling, no circumstance, no person, and no challenge will ever have the power to stop you. Stand tall, stand strong, and take your life into the hands of the person you are becoming, because that person is unstoppable. Feelings are temporary, power is permanent. This is a truth that so few people truly understand, and yet it is the foundation of every extraordinary life. Most people wake up every day thinking their feelings define them. They wake up believing that if they feel fear, they are weak. If they feel doubt, they are incapable. If they feel sadness, they are failing. And because they believe this, they let their feelings dictate their actions, or worse, their inaction. They allow themselves to be trapped in the emotional tide, tossed around by moods, circumstances, and the judgments of others, thinking that to be ruled by feelings is normal, inevitable, or acceptable. But it is not. You are not your feelings. Your feelings are passing moments, fleeting waves that rise and fall, but your power, the power within you, the power of choice, the power of action, is constant, waiting for you to claim it. The moment you understand that feelings do not define you, a door opens. That door leads to freedom, to courage, to clarity. It leads to a place where your actions are not limited by what you feel in this moment, where your destiny is no longer hostage to the highs and lows of your mind, where your life is determined by what you do, not by what you feel. Feelings are biological responses. Fear is an alarm system. Doubt is a caution signal. Anger is a reaction to perceived wrongs. They are useful. They tell you something about your environment, about your body, about your mind, but they are not instructions. They are signals, not laws. And yet, most people treat them as laws, allowing a wave of fear to stop them from speaking up, a moment of doubt to paralyze their dreams, a flash of anger to destroy a relationship. Imagine how different life would be if instead of obeying every feeling, you learned to observe them, to understand them, to see them as temporary signals while you act from your power. This is the first step in rising above feelings. The first step is awareness, noticing that fear is fear, that anger is anger, that sadness is sadness, and saying to yourself, I feel this, but I am not this. I am bigger than this. I will act despite this. The second step is choice. Every action you take is a declaration of who you are, a declaration of your power. You may feel fear, but you can choose courage. You may feel doubt, but you can choose faith in yourself. You may feel anger, but you can choose calm and clarity. Choice is the bridge between feeling and power. It is where transformation happens. You do not need to wait until you feel confident to take action. Confidence comes from action, not the other way around. Every time you act despite your feelings, you build strength. Every time you move forward while afraid, you are training your mind, your body, your spirit to rely on your power rather than your feelings. The third step is repetition. Mastery over feelings does not happen once. It happens every day, in every decision, in every moment. It happens when you refuse to let a negative emotion dictate your day, when you refuse to let a temporary feeling define your identity. It happens when you practice rising above small fears, small doubts, small frustrations until it becomes a habit, until it becomes the way you live. And the beauty of this habit is that it compounds. The more you rise above your feelings, the stronger you become. The easier it becomes to act decisively, to speak boldly, to pursue relentlessly, to live fully. Your power grows exponentially, while your feelings, once overwhelming, become mere whispers, easily managed and easily overcome. The fourth step is perspective. When you understand that feelings are temporary and power is permanent, you see life differently. Challenges are no longer threats to avoid, but opportunities to grow. Obstacles are no longer reasons to quit, but reasons to rise. Setbacks are no longer failures, but feedback to adjust your approach, refine your strategy, and keep moving forward. Life becomes a series of moments where you are choosing your response, choosing your action, and choosing to step into your power rather than be held hostage by your feelings. And in that space, you discover something profound. The feelings that once seemed so powerful and controlling are actually insignificant compared to the power you carry when you act intentionally, decisively, and consistently. Power is not about dominating others. It is not about controlling circumstances. It is about mastering yourself. It is about having the ability to choose who you are, how you respond, and what you create, regardless of how you feel in any given moment. And once you truly grasp this, once you live it, once you act from it, you realize that nothing can stop you. Fear can roar, doubt can whisper, anger can flare, sadness can linger. And yet, you remain unshaken, unstoppable, and unstoppable because you have tapped into the permanent source of power that resides within you. Master your emotions, don't suppress them. This is one of the most misunderstood truths about power and success. Too many people think that to be strong, to be unstoppable, they must never feel fear, doubt, anger, or sadness. They believe that emotions are weaknesses, that showing them is a flaw, that acknowledging them is failure. And so they push them down, they ignore them, they pretend they don't exist, hoping somehow that if they bury these feelings deep enough, they will disappear. But feelings do not vanish when suppressed. They fester, they grow, they manifest in ways that derail your life, in ways that you may not even recognize. Suppressing emotions is not mastery. Mastery comes from understanding, controlling, and directing them, not from pretending they aren't there. To rise above your feelings, you must first face them. You must see them clearly, feel them fully, and then step beyond them. Emotions are energy. Fear is energy moving through your body, signaling you to pay attention. Anger is energy, a force that, if harnessed correctly, can motivate you to take decisive action. Sadness is energy that calls for reflection, for understanding, for processing. The problem is that most people treat emotions as enemies, as obstacles, as signals to stop or retreat. They react impulsively, let anger explode, let fear paralyze them, let sadness drag them into inactivity. But mastery is about shifting your relationship with your emotions. It is about recognizing that emotions are not instructions. They are signals, data, and feedback from your inner world. And once you understand them as signals rather than commands, you can use them to your advantage. You can turn fear into courage, doubt into curiosity, anger into determination, sadness into empathy, frustration into focus. The first step in mastering emotions is awareness. You must be present enough to notice what you are feeling in every moment. Most people live in autopilot, letting feelings rise and dictate their behavior without noticing. Fear surfaces and they back down. Anger flares and they lash out. Frustration grows and they quit. Awareness is the ability to pause, observe the feeling without judgment, and say, I see you, I feel you, but I am not controlled by you. When you become aware of your emotions, you gain the space between stimulus and response. That space is where power lives. That space is where you can choose. That space is where you can master yourself. The second step is understanding. Emotions have roots, triggers, and meanings. Fear is often tied to uncertainty, anger to perceived injustice, sadness to loss or disappointment. Understanding your emotions means identifying these roots, seeing why they arise, and acknowledging their presence without letting them dictate your behavior. When you understand your emotions, you demystify them. You see them for what they are: temporary, understandable, manageable, and this understanding empowers you to take action from a place of clarity rather than reaction. The third step is direction. Mastery is not only feeling and understanding, it is directing. You decide how your emotions will flow into action. You decide whether fear will freeze you or push you to prepare. You decide whether anger will destroy relationships or drive change. You decide whether sadness will keep you down or teach you lessons that make you stronger. Direction is choice, and choice is power. Every time you choose how to channel your emotions, you strengthen the muscle of yourself. Mastery, the muscle that separates those who are controlled by life from those who create their life. The fourth step is repetition. Emotional mastery is a skill, and like any skill, it grows stronger with practice. You will not master your emotions overnight. You will face moments when fear overwhelms, when anger explodes, when sadness lingers. And that is the training ground. Each moment is an opportunity to notice, understand, and direct your emotions. Each moment is an opportunity to step beyond feelings and act from power. Each moment is a chance to prove to yourself that you are bigger than your impulses, stronger than your fears, and more capable than your doubts. Over time, as you repeat this practice, emotions lose their ability to control you. They become allies, tools, and signals rather than obstacles. When you master your emotions, you gain freedom. You no longer wake up at the mercy of every thought, every mood, every fleeting feeling. You gain clarity of purpose, focus of mind, and strength of spirit. You gain the ability to act decisively in any situation, to navigate challenges without panic, to respond instead of react, to lead instead of follow. Mastery over emotions transforms every area of life, relationships, career, health, and personal growth. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the architect of your own destiny. And once you realize that this power is available to you in every moment, you begin to live differently. You begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You begin to act when others hesitate. You begin to rise above your feelings and step fully into the power that is your birthright. Action transforms feelings into results. This is a principle that separates those who dream from those who achieve, those who talk about life from those who live it fully. Most people wait for feelings to align with action. They wait until fear disappears, until motivation shows up, until confidence knocks at the door. And while they wait, life passes by. Opportunity doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Power doesn't knock and ask if you are in the mood. Circumstances do not pause until you are emotionally aligned. Action is the bridge between the internal and external, between who you are now and who you want to become. Action is what converts energy, intention, and vision into results that can be seen, felt, and measured. Without action, feelings are wasted. Without action, potential is trapped in the mind, never released into the world. The problem is that most people treat action as optional, as something they will take when emotions finally feel right. But feelings are fleeting. They are inconsistent. They will not carry you to greatness. Action, however, is consistent. Action repeated is reliable. Action focused is unstoppable. Action taken regardless of emotion is how you harness power. When you act while afraid, your courage grows. When you act while doubtful, your confidence expands. When you act while frustrated or tired, your resilience strengthens. Action does not require permission from your feelings. Action requires decision, commitment, and movement. And once you begin to act, feelings will follow. Motivation is generated by movement, not the other way around. Confidence is created in the doing, not the waiting. Strength is built in the struggle, not in comfort. Taking action despite your feelings starts with small steps. The first step is to recognize the voice that says, "I can't, I'm not ready, I don't feel it." That voice will always exist because it is the mind trying to protect you from discomfort, from risk, from growth. But growth lives in discomfort. Results live in challenge. Power lives in moving forward while the mind and emotions are uncertain. And so, the small step is a choice to act anyway. Pick one thing, one task, one decision that aligns with your goal and do it, no matter how you feel. That small act of courage begins the chain reaction. It proves to your mind, body, and spirit that you are stronger than your emotions. It proves that you are capable of controlling your destiny. It proves that feelings do not have to dictate your life. The second step is consistency. Action must be repeated not once, but over and over. Most people take action for a moment and then stop because the initial feeling isn't perfect, because doubt creeps back in, because fear resurfaces. But consistency builds momentum. Consistent action, even in the presence of fear, frustration, or fatigue, compounds into results that are impossible to ignore. Every day you take intentional steps, no matter how small, you reinforce a new pattern, the pattern of action over emotion, of power over paralysis, of results over excuses. Momentum builds, and with momentum, your feelings begin to align with your actions, not the other way around. The third step is focus. Action without focus is scattered, wasted energy. When you act, act with clarity and purpose. Know what you want, why you want it, and what it will take to get it. Focus allows you to convert raw effort into measurable results. It allows you to channel your emotions, to transform doubt into strategy, to turn fear into preparation. Focus ensures that action is not random, but intentional, powerful, and directed toward your highest potential. Without focus, action may move you, but it will not move you forward in the direction of your dreams. With focus, action becomes unstoppable, transformational, and life-changing. Action also teaches you lessons. Feelings are often misleading. Fear tells you to run. Doubt tells you to quit. Frustration tells you to avoid. Action corrects this misinformation. When you act, you learn what works, what doesn't, and what you are truly capable of. Each step forward builds clarity, and clarity builds confidence. Each challenge you face while acting strengthens your resilience. Each obstacle you overcome through movement expands your capacity to achieve. Your emotions will try to distract, deter, and discourage you, but action keeps you moving, keeps you growing, and keeps you rising above the limitations imposed by temporary feelings. The most powerful people in the world are not those who feel fearless, motivated, or perfectly aligned every moment. They are the ones who act despite their feelings, who take control of their energy, their time, and their choices. They understand that feelings are a byproduct of action, not a prerequisite. They know that the path to mastery, success, and fulfillment is paved by movement in the face of fear, effort in the presence of doubt, and commitment even when the emotions suggest retreat. Action transforms feelings into results, and results transform lives. Every action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming, a proof of the power you possess, a step into a life that is extraordinary. Stop waiting to feel ready. This is one of the greatest traps that holds people back from the life they desire. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, the perfect emotional alignment, as if readiness is something that magically appears when conditions are ideal. But here's the truth: readiness is a myth. The perfect moment will never arrive. Fear will always be there. Doubt will always creep in. Uncertainty will always exist. Waiting for these things to disappear before you take action is a recipe for stagnation, for regret, for a life half-lived. The only way to become ready is to act. Readiness is born in movement, in doing, in choosing to step forward even when you do not feel completely prepared. The people who change the world, who achieve extraordinary results, do not wait to feel ready. They act, and in acting, they become ready. When you wait to feel ready, you are allowing your emotions to dictate your life. You are letting fear control your decisions, letting doubt stall your progress, letting hesitation steal your power. This is why so many people stay stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, or routines that limit their potential. They convince themselves that they will act once they feel ready. But feeling ready is an illusion. Life does not pause for your emotions to catch up. Opportunity waits for no one. Growth requires discomfort, and the moment you decide to act despite not feeling ready, you tap into a force that is far greater than any fleeting feeling: your power. The key to acting without feeling ready is to shift your mindset from seeking comfort to seeking results. Most people confuse comfort with readiness. They think, "I'll do this when I feel confident," or "I'll start this when I am not afraid." But comfort is a trap. It is the voice that keeps you small, safe, and stagnant. Readiness comes from courage, not comfort. Readiness comes from the decision to step into action, to embrace discomfort, and to move forward despite uncertainty. Each time you act without feeling ready, you strengthen the part of yourself that does not rely on emotion, the part of yourself that is consistent, disciplined, and unstoppable. Another essential principle is momentum. Readiness is created by movement. You do not need to feel fully equipped before you start. You only need to start. The first action you take, no matter how small, creates energy. That energy builds momentum, and momentum creates confidence. You learn by doing, not by waiting. Action teaches you what works, what doesn't, and how to adjust your approach. It gives you information you could never gain by waiting. Each step you take without feeling ready is a step toward mastery, toward skill, toward strength. And with each step, your feelings begin to align with your actions. You become ready through doing, not through waiting. It is also important to recognize that the process of acting without feeling ready transforms your mind. Each time you move forward despite fear, each time you take a risk without absolute certainty, you rewire your mental patterns. You teach your mind that you are bigger than your emotions, stronger than your doubts, and more capable than you previously believed. Over time, this repeated practice of choosing action over feelings becomes a habit, and habits shape destiny. You no longer wait for permission from your emotions. You no longer rely on fleeting motivation or temporary courage. You become the kind of person who creates your own readiness, who generates your own power, who consistently rises above feelings to produce extraordinary results. Fear, doubt, and uncertainty will never fully disappear. They are part of the human experience. The question is not whether you will feel ready, but whether you will act anyway. Every person who has achieved greatness has faced fear, hesitation, and uncertainty. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is action. Those who succeed act in spite of how they feel. They take steps. They make decisions. They pursue relentlessly. They do not wait to feel ready, because they know that readiness is a result of movement, not a prerequisite for it. The more you practice this principle, the more your life transforms. Opportunities that once seemed impossible become achievable. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming become manageable. Your confidence grows, your resilience strengthens, and your ability to rise above feelings becomes second nature. Acting without feeling ready also shifts your relationship with failure. When you stop waiting to feel ready, you learn that mistakes are not the end, but feedback. They are signals to adjust, refine, and keep moving. The fear of failure loses its grip because action takes precedence over emotion. You realize that growth is found in movement, learning, and persistence, not in waiting for the perfect alignment of circumstances and feelings. You begin to see life as a series of steps to be taken, challenges to be faced, and moments to seize, rather than a series of obstacles to be avoided until you feel ready. Rise into your power through choice. This is the ultimate truth that separates ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. Most people live as if they are at the mercy of circumstances, of other people, of fleeting emotions, and of the world around them. They believe that life happens to them, that opportunity is random, that success is reserved for others. And in this belief they surrender their power. But the truth is that power is always within your grasp. It is not found in luck, circumstance, or external validation. Power is found in the choices you make, in the decisions you take, and in the commitment you bring to those choices. Every choice is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every decision is a declaration of your identity. Every action you take is a step into your personal power. Choice is the defining factor in human potential. You may not be able to control every event, every challenge, or every person in your life, but you always have control over how you respond, what you do, and who you choose to become. You can choose to react with fear, to retreat in doubt, to surrender to frustration, or you can choose to rise, to act, to persist, to grow. That is where your power lies, in the moment between stimulus and response. That pause, that space, is where you decide who you are, where you are going, and how much of your potential you are willing to claim. People who achieve extraordinary success do not wait for circumstances to align. They make choices that create alignment. They choose action over hesitation, courage over fear, persistence over quitting, and vision over doubt. The power of choice is not only about big decisions, it is about every decision, every moment, every action. Small choices compound over time into the trajectory of your life. The choice to show up, to try, to speak, to act, to persist, to push yourself beyond comfort. These are the decisions that create momentum, opportunity, and achievement. Every time you choose action over passivity, every time you choose strength over weakness, every time you choose growth over stagnation, you rise further into your power. And the remarkable truth is that this power grows with practice. Each choice reinforces your identity, your confidence, and your ability to act decisively in the face of fear, doubt, and resistance. Another critical aspect of rising into your power is the awareness that choice is always available. Many people feel trapped, as if circumstances, other people, or their emotions have locked them into a situation. But this is an illusion. Even in the most challenging circumstances, you always have a choice. You can choose your attitude, you can choose your focus, you can choose your actions, you can choose to be reactive, or you can choose to be proactive. You can choose to complain, or you can choose to solve. You can choose to quit, or you can choose to rise. And in making these conscious choices, you reclaim the power that fear, doubt, and circumstance try to steal from you. The process of rising into power through choice also requires accountability. You must own your decisions, your actions, and your results. No one else is responsible for your life, your happiness, or your success. The moment you stop blaming, stop waiting for others, and accept full responsibility for your choices, your power expands exponentially. Responsibility is the fuel of empowerment. It turns uncertainty into clarity, obstacles into challenges, and potential into achievement. It transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders, creators, and achievers. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to exercise your power of choice. You will encounter fear, resistance, doubt, and obstacles. You will face situations that seem overwhelming, unfair, or impossible. And in those moments, your true power is revealed. Do you react with frustration, despair, or surrender? Or do you pause, breathe, focus, and choose to rise above the feelings, to act from strength, to move forward with determination? Each time you make the latter choice, your confidence grows, your resilience deepens, and your ability to navigate life's challenges becomes unstoppable. Rising into your power through choice is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a discipline, a way of life. It requires vigilance, presence, and commitment. It requires that you notice your patterns, your impulses, your tendencies to follow emotions blindly or to let fear dictate your actions. It requires that you consciously step into each moment with the understanding that the most powerful person in your life is the one who decides, and that person is you. You hold the power to choose your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and ultimately, your destiny. The more you exercise this power, the stronger it becomes. The more intentional you are in your choices, the more unstoppable you become. When you embrace choice as the gateway to power, you stop waiting for permission from the world, from others, or from your feeling. You create momentum, you create results, you create a life that reflects the fullest expression of your potential. You move from being a passenger in your own life to being the driver, the architect, the creator of your destiny. Every decision, every action, every moment is an opportunity to rise higher, to expand your influence, to claim your strength, and to live the life you were meant to live.